Hey, so Jurgen Klopp is leaving Liverpool Football Club. He did an announcement video earlier today.
I will leave the club at the end of the season.
He's saying that, yeah, he doesn't feel like he's got the energy, the same levels of energy that he's had in the past, and it's a good time to sort of go. And yeah, so this end of this season will be last with him as Liverpool manager. Look, I'm going to level with yous. I've just done a big old video over on Redmen with Chris about this, so I've had a little bit of time to digest it, but ultimately not loads. I originally, when I found out about this, I did a video in my car. Yeah, honestly, I'm genuinely shell-shocked. I think anyone who's regularly watched these, you know, I like to sort of freestyle these videos, but freestyle within a framework. So I'll think a lot about what I'm trying to say, or what I want to say, or what I want to get across in broad strokes, and then just basically just go from there. I've literally just done half an hour odd with Chris talking this through, and I still don't really know what to think or what to feel. You know, the facts as they are. You know, Liverpool are top of the league. They're in the final of the League Cup. They've got a fourth round game of the FA Cup looming. They're still in the Europa League. They're in the Europa League knockout stages. The season's going pretty damn well. Liverpool are coping with all kinds of, you know, mad injuries and all that kind of thing as well. We know that Jurgen's done this announcement. He's going to be leaving. That's not going to change. We know his coaching staff are going. So his assistant manager, Pep Lijnders, is going. Matos is going, who is basically sort of like, he coaches the players who are effectively somewhere between the academy and the first team. And Pep Krawietz is going as well, who's the other basic assistant manager for Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp is leaving at the end of the January transfer window, who has not quite been the director of football. He's kind of been a sort of assistant to Jurgen, done some transfer dealings for us, but doesn't have the same sort of role that Michael Edwards and Julian Ward had in that, you know, as a proper true director of football for Liverpool. So that remains a position that's kind of been vacant since Julian Ward left in the summer. Those are the facts. That's the situation we're in. And I mean, I suppose, look, let's just talk around Jurgen's sort of motivations for this, because I get it. I do. I really get it. I think, you know, he had a little bit of time, a couple of years left on his contract. And I think you can, I'll give you a good analogy. So when I left school, we were on the calendar in the final week of school term. This would have been leaving at the end of A level, so like leaving at 18. And as the week went on, they hadn't announced to us what was going to be the last day of school. And they couldn't announce to us ahead of time, because if you announce too far ahead of time, then you leave it up to like the pranksters to do stupid things. So the year above us in school, and I apologise for the randomness of this, but they'd hidden a cassette recorder in the chapel that had porn noises playing on their last day, and it was a huge sort of furore or whatever. So what they did the next year was they refused to tell us when our last day of school was going to be. But it reached that point where by the time it got to Wednesday and they hadn't told us, you knew Thursday was going to be our last day, because if you didn't get sent home on Thursday, it had to be Friday. So that was the sort of the sort of logic of this all. And why am I saying this? Well, because I like to try and lighten the mood with weird and strange analogies. Welcome to HTV. Welcome to me. But the issue with this is that the longer this sort of gets sort of drawn out, and if you know Jurgen Klopp's leaving, you've then got a year, he's not signing a new contract, and you've got a year of speculation. So you've got a year of, if every time a player doesn't put in a tackle hard enough, or if every time Liverpool drop points, or every time Jurgen Klopp looks a little bit grumpy on the touchline, the constant speculation is this because he's not going? When, you know, Liverpool have problems if a player chooses to sign for another football club, is it because Jurgen Klopp hasn't extended his contract? So you create this mad cauldron of building pressure, of negative pressure. You see it in footballers whenever they're due to leave on a Bosman, and people question, like Steve McManaman had his commitment questions. As it turned out, he ended up being brilliant at the end of that season. But you know, remember Paul Pogba's, you know, last sort of months at Manchester United. Now, there's going to be a bit of that. There absolutely will be, if Liverpool don't continue on this path of really, really good form. the potential benefits to this and doing this now is that effectively, you take away the speculation, you make it clear, and then people can sort of wrap their heads around it, basically. And then, of course, what you've got is, because Liverpool are in good form, actually you get to do a let's do it for Jurgen sort of hurrah. You know, that old sports movie trope of, like, you know, I mean, I think Brendan did a let's do it for Lucas back in the day. But it's very major league. You know, the manager in Major League is in the hospital, and they get to go, oh, manager, let's do it for him. You know, and everyone who's at the club gets to say, and all the fans get to go, right, I'm just going to go and I'm going to sing my heart out at every single opportunity in front of Jurgen. I'm going to be the best I can be for Jurgen, because I want Jurgen Klopp to leave on a high. So that actually can... And I think that's the biggest potential benefit for this. And that's the one I think will be the case. Because this isn't like a mad, negative, toxic environment. This isn't someone who's underperformed, who spits the dummy out, like the Pogba kind of situation where there's been tons of negative sort of media around it. This really could be the thing that, you know, when Liverpool chased the quadruple a couple of seasons ago, and you know, everyone's sort of flat out with it, and Liverpool run themselves into the ground. If this is that marginal gain that gets an extra % out of everyone involved, from, you know, from fans to players to coaches, then maybe it's a thing that leaves Liverpool with this season being another wonderfully historic one. You know, obviously the dream will be just leave with one more Premier League title. That's all I ask. Really, I'd give up absolutely everything to just let Jurgen have one Premier League win in front of the fans. And if this is the thing that gives us that, I would trade the rest of Jurgen Klopp's time at Liverpool, the rest of his contract, to be able to guarantee this one last Premier League with me in the crowd on that last game of the season, with 60,000 Liverpool fans all getting to sort of bathe in that glory. You know, if you had to give me the choice, maybe I would make that. I don't know how I'll feel about that after the fact. It's a bit like the marshmallow effect of, you know, you can have your one marshmallow now, or if you wait, you can have two. You know, I will probably, you know, having made that decision, I would, of course, instantly regret it the next season when he's not there. But ultimately, this wasn't a bargain with us. This isn't a decision that we get to make. It's something we're just going to have to countenance. It's something we're going to have to get on with, or something we're going to have to live with, because it's happening. And there is that, you know, there's going to have to come an acceptance. It's too soon for me to be fully in acceptance mode. In fact, I've just done a video. I'll play a little clip for you. So me and Chris Page, I'm a good friend, long-time partner in all of this. I am normally the glass half full one, and he's normally the sort of negative Nelly kind of thing. Anyway, look, I'll play a little clip.
There's no point in thinking, well, what are Liverpool going to do? It wasn't their decision. It was Jurgen Klopp's decision to leave Liverpool Football Club. Yeah. Liverpool, I'm sure, will have done absolutely fucking everything that they could to keep Jurgen. In fact, FSG came out, didn't they? And I've already seen it, and I've not read it with my own eyes, but Dan said, we didn't want to accept it. Of course you didn't want to accept it. Why would you want to accept the best manager, the best fit that you're ever going to possibly have at Liverpool has just handed his notice in? What I'm saying, you've got to respect him for what he's done for us so far, and you know, he wants a life after football, and he wants to be able to do the things of a normal life and stuff. So Liverpool's job is now just get this decision right, because it's the most important in your history.
If you want to watch that and all of our Jurgen Klopp coverage and everything we do over on Redmen Plus, we've been running this free month code, and the code is KLOPP. It's like we knew. Go to redmenplus.com, use the code KLOPP, and get it free for a whole month. So obviously we'll counsel you through all of this stuff, and when more stuff breaks, we're going to cover that as well. So we'll have you covered in a huge way. So yeah, I would highly recommend doing that, because yeah, there'll be all kinds of stuff going on there. There's the 50 greatest moments of Jurgen Klopp's career at Liverpool, which we made a couple of years ago, which will make you feel really nostalgic, may make you cry, but happy tears. Anyway, you know, so yeah, look, we've kind of, Chris is the, I'm not ready. I can't accept this because it's still too new and it's still too fresh. And, you know, we can have the conversations about who follows, you know, who takes that job, because the reality is the person who's stepping into those shoes is stepping into the best run Liverpool that there's probably ever been. You know, it's the youngest, it's a refreshed squad. There's still some big decisions to be taken, sure. You know, the futures of contracts of Trent, of Virgil, of Mo are going to be the biggest decision points to be made this summer. But other than that, you know, Liverpool look pretty well rebooted. The attack's been rebooted, the midfield's rebooted, the defence has been rebooted, and there's a clutch of truly best-in-class, world-class footballers at the squad, within that squad. So that's sound. It's an unfamiliar situation, because Liverpool managers that I've, in my time, have tended to leave under a little bit of a cloud, where you either have genuine acceptance that they've done all they can kind of do, or things have gone backwards and there's a little bit of acrimony and you feel maybe a bit cross with how they performed, or, you know, it's Roy Hodgson who everyone thought was rubbish from minute one, apart from, you know, some of the players who helped get him in the job. I don't know how. My only examples of this are Alex Ferguson leaving, and Arsene Wenger leaving in recent times, and maybe Kerry in 1990, but I was too young to really truly get the gravitas of that situation. But how do you follow those guys? And the honest answer is, I've got no idea. I have got no idea how you follow Jurgen Klopp. Worse is the most likely outcome, is that whoever will follow will do a worse job, and that's why what's coming now is just huge. It's the most important decision certainly FSG have ever had to make. And like, it's mad because they sacked Brendan Rodgers, and that was a huge decision that they took a really positive move on, and they chose between Ancelotti and Klopp, and they chose Klopp. Huge decision. But this now, how do you follow that? How do you follow a guy who is universally loved by the fan base, who has taken Liverpool from being effectively a cup team to a consistently European Cup challenging, league challenging side, or certainly more consistently than they've ever been in the Premier League era? That's a fact. You know, Liverpool prior to that have come close on odd seasons every now and again, and then fallen off a cliff immediately afterwards. Liverpool came close by getting 97 points and decided to follow that up, instead of falling off a cliff, by winning the Champions League and then going and winning the league in the quickest possible time ever, and longest because of COVID. With 90 plus points, you know, it's unparalleled in terms of what's happened to Liverpool in the modern era. Who comes in and does that? How do you live in that shadow? And I do wonder, it'd be interesting to know what Pep Lijnders' input was on his future, because with him leaving, you know, did he want the job? Has he been told that we're just going to, you know, with Jurgen gone, it makes sense for everyone to go? Or did he not want to follow in those footsteps? Because again, there are huge shoes to fill there. And then, yeah, the question, look, once I've had time to digest this, I'll probably do a little bit more on who could take the job. Because right now, there's no one good enough. The only man, you know what, it sounds stupid, it'll never happen. I'll throw it out there for a semi-joke and semi-tongue-in-cheek. The only manager good enough to replace Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool right now is Pep Guardiola. And maybe you go, Pep, would you like to come and win it legitimately for the change? You know, TikTok, it's coming to an end at Man City, surely. It's all going to come out in the wash. He's obviously got a bit. He loves Liverpool. He does. And he always wanted. He always wanted City to be more like Liverpool. You know, to have their own songs and have fans who turned up in more than the hundreds. And had their own songs and banners and all those kind of things. If you're only going to go and manage a relegated Man City in the lower leagues, just come and manage Liverpool instead. Look, and then you're looking around at like prospects. I look around the Premier League. Iraola's starting to do a good job, but is he ready for that sort of step up? Ange Postecoglou, he's got to Tottenham, and is he good enough? No idea. I mean, yeah, at the moment, Liverpool have the best manager, in my opinion, in the world. And if he's not the single sole best manager in the world, he's in the clutch of three. It's him, Guardiola, and Ancelotti. And everyone else is kind of waiting in the wings. This is a bit like the post-Messi, Ronaldo era of players. It's been Guardiola. I mean, obviously, maybe I'm doing... There'll be another couple of managers in there, but please don't feel the need to spam other names in there. Simeone will probably be mentioned in there, but it's been undeniably them as the best managers. So when other managers have come into the league, like when Ten Hag comes into the league, I remember saying, at best, he's the third best manager in the league. At best. When every manager has come into England in the last 5 or 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, they've only ever at best, they could only be the third best manager, because the two best managers basically in the world were already in the league at two of the biggest clubs with the best resources and all that kind of backing. So what next? What kind of comes? And yeah, everyone else for me feels like I don't like. There's not many people whose personality fits. Like I like Postecoglou as a personality. I think he would suit Liverpool really well. I think Xabi Alonso's got the connection, and I think he's got the personality, and I think he's got the aura about him. Steven Gerrard, 2 years, looked like he might be the right fit, but right now, look, he's it's just his managerial career's absolutely fallen off a cliff, and I'd have been happier a couple of years ago. But if Gerrard was still at Rangers, still succeeding, I would probably be banging the Gerrard to Liverpool drum. It's funny how things happen, isn't it? And then, you're just entering into a bunch of, there's winners out there, but are they the right personality fit? Do they play the right style of football? How do you follow that stuff? It needs to be someone else who can play up under football that gets us excited. We can't go back to the dark ages of playing defensive counter-attacking football. The fans just won't stand for it, and that manager will be on a high into nothing. So, honestly, I feel very, very negatively about this whole thing. I really do. The slight positives to this is that, again, it's out there, it's done, it's real now. Decisions need to be taken, and at least doing it now means you've got a few months to get your head around it, because, let's be honest, Manchester United have now got Ineos, or will have Ineos taking over. They've got Berard coming from Manchester. They're getting more football brains behind the scenes there. They are going to have a little bit of money to spend, and there's going to be a huge hot seat vacant there. Ten Hag's probably not going to last the season. So if there is a best-in-class manager available, then Liverpool need to get that person boxed at Liverpool before he gets picked up by Manchester United. And that's the potential benefit of this, and that's what they did what FSG did when they got Klopp. Rodgers was in charge. He spent the summer rebuilding, got rid of all his coaching staff, and was given one last go at it. And of course, what it meant was a bit of a split between the transfer committee and Rodgers. So we had a bit of a mismatched summer of transfers, but we got some players in. Rodgers started the season, it was mediocre. It was just it was really underwhelming. It hadn't rebooted in the way everyone was hoping for. But they weren't losing, they were just drawing, and it was a huge decision. It took a great deal of savvy and bravery to pull the trigger on Brendan Rodgers at that time. It was quite shocking, which is why Thierry Henry does the shock to Jamie Carragher. This is an opportunity to do that again. If Liverpool had waited until Christmas, or if they'd waited until the end of the season, give Rodgers one last full season to try and turn it round, they might have missed out on Jurgen Klopp, or they'd have missed out on Ancelotti, and then all of a sudden you're shopping in a much wider but less talented pool of managers. My hope, and it is hope, because I'll be honest, I don't really, until I see some positive moves. This is just pure speculation, isn't it? But I said, if I had to be glass half full, this gives them the opportunity to steal a march, because right now Man United can't go and get a new manager in. They can't really have those talks, because it would upset the apple cart, because it'll come out, because it'll be found out that Man United are talking to things. They've got a manager in situ that sows seeds of disharmony. Liverpool can actually go out in the open now and have these discussions without undercutting what Jurgen does, and that's actually a positive of the situation and the timing of it. Doesn't really feel like it. It feels like I've been fucking kicked in the teeth and basically told to get on with it, which is shit, really. I'm not really sure what this means just in general. I had a real feeling that Liverpool were doing the business, and I wasn't sure how much longer I had in me talking about Liverpool. I feel like I've had every conversation there is to be had about Liverpool Football Club 10 times over. Every now and again something new kind of crops up that gives a little spark of interest, something new to discuss, something new to get your teeth into. But you start to think, I remember saying to myself, I wasn't sure I'd carry on doing all this kind of stuff once Jurgen left Liverpool. So this is where they're at for me. I feel a bit done with it. And look, no recriminations. It's been amazing. I've had a boss time. This is not me officially retiring, by the way. More like, you have these big questions, and you do look at your life and where you're going with it, and what your career wants to look like, and that kind of stuff. What Liverpool do next is going to be important. It is. It's going to be different. The odds are it's not going to be as good, because if you think it's going to carry on the same, we have this with footballers sometimes. Liverpool always abides. Liverpool will always be a big football club, the biggest, in my eyes, the best in my eyes, of course. There will always be down times, and it will always resurge to get back to the top again. Never felt like in 2015 when Brendan Rodgers got us battered by Stoke, and it was the 10-year anniversary of Istanbul. I didn't think a year later I would be watching a Europa League final. with Jurgen Klopp in charge. So, you know, football can move on in weird, mad and wonderful ways. So whilst there's breath in our body, we have the ability to create happiness and positivity and turn things around. But yeah, all I'm saying is this is who I am, where I am right now. The huge shoes to fill. I don't envy the person who's going to come in and do it, because they're going to have to be something special, because we've got the best fit for that Liverpool manager's job that we've had in my time, supporting the football club, and he will be desperately, sorely missed. There's not going to be a dry eye in the house. If you thought it was bad for Bobby Firmino last year, fuck me. I can't even begin to imagine what it's going to be like when Jurgen actually does depart. Yeah. How are you doing? How do you feel? It's mad, isn't it? Yeah, it's there's a surreality to it all that I haven't quite wrapped my head around. I'm not really sure, how to sort of countenance it. It's mad that we've got to go and play a game of football on Sunday, and that's and then that's going to carry on. I mean, look, he's the manager. We'll get through this. It'll be a big thing at the weekend. There'll be a big thing probably for the Chelsea game, and then it'll just be, we'll just move forward with it. You know, there'll be more games of football to be played, more games to be won, trophies to be contested, and let's hope that everyone can pull together. And look, as I said earlier, if it just gives us that extra impetus to go and just scream a little bit more of our souls onto the pitch, or just be a little bit nicer on social media to the players, and just be generally actually enjoy what Liverpool are doing, as opposed to, you know, like being distracted by what other football clubs are doing, and, you know, save any hatred or negativity out towards anything that's happening around the football club, pass it on to other people. That, you know, spare your anger and hatred and banter for, you know, for players who play for other football clubs and all that kind of shit. I think if we can all dedicate our energies towards this and the final push in the season, then Jurgen will get the fitting send-off. You know, hopefully he can leave with the league title. There'll be no more fitting end if he's able to do that, and I might be able to make my peace with the whole thing if we do. What a gift it would be. But ultimately, you know, whether he leaves with the trophy or empty-handed this season, he's been the perfect Liverpool manager in my eyes. The perfect personality, the perfect fit, perfect brand of football, conducted himself like an absolute gentleman, been really just a wonderful human being in the interactions I've had with him. Won the Manager of the Year award, and got a kiss off my wife on the cheek as we were there, and he described the kiss as the highlight of his night, not winning the award. I mean, stupid. There's no need for him to say things like that. But he's just a wonderful guy. He once did an impression of my dad. And he told me that he watches our content. Huge moments in my life, huge swathe now. The longest time making Red Men where Liverpool just won nothing. And then we've had 9 years of Jurgen Klopp, and it's been the best, the absolute best. Right, thoughts, comments below. Do go and check out the rest of the content over on Red Men Plus. Obviously, we'll get you through it to the best of our ability. We're all hurting from this, but collectivism is the answer. If you just need to talk to people, have more people talk to you, then you go and check out Red Men Plus. Use the code KLOPP. It's free for fill your boots. Yes, drop a like on this as well, and if you enjoyed it or you think someone else might benefit from listening to me ramble about it, share it as well.